scientific minds we have today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's very early this morning, but I really had a lot of thoughts going through my head about what I've been seeing on YouTube. It's just really, really getting crazy out here. Many people are spiraling out of control about these deportations and what's going on in Minnesota. Llhan, Omar, out the blue start claiming black, and as I've been talking about for forever now, seems like the hustle of using blackness is obviously being exposed through what this Somalian person is, representative, congresswoman, whatever she is trying to pull. But the facts on the ground is a lot of scamming has been going on for a long time. They got comfortable. They got entitled. They acted like they were superior. They were running around acting like they were untouchable thanks to Tim Walz. Think about if he did make it to be vice president, where we would be at right now with what's going on in Minnesota. It's like really, really scary to even consider. But we're in a really, really crazy transitional period. And, I'm having a hard time finding the words to kind of convey constructively without ranting or getting upset, because it's such a highly emotional topic for me. And the reason being is that a lot of people are assuming that Black Americans should always be utilized as a useful tool and a fool for everybody. And, we are finally waking up and realizing how we've been played for a very, very long time. The terminology of blackness has not been a thing that we can use for our benefit collectively here as Americans. It's just been really constructed into like a scamming tool. And this video will showcase that fact. But what I want to talk about before I lose what I'm trying to say is there was a representative in Texas, Barbara Jordan. She was a Texas politician, an icon. And I realized, going over a video that I found of hers, we really do not have proper representation for Americans, for the most part, without racist rhetoric coming out. Everybody wants to say you're a racist or you're a bigot or you are xenophobic if you want to like preserve America and not have it be given over to foreigners and to people that are hostile and to people that are disrespectful, to people that don't love America and could care less about whether we stand or fall. And it's very odd that, even Black Americans can't even speak up the way that we're used to known to be speaking up. It's like the minute we start talking, people start claiming we're bots, we're mega supporters, we're brainwashed by Trump, and all these other assertions that people are trying to place onto us for having common sense and trying to speak up for what is right in this situation that's going on here in America. There was at one time, like I said, Barbara Jordan, she was the voice of reason for a lot of complicated topics such as immigration. And I want to show an older video to emphasize the fact that she knew and foresaw if we did not have boundaries, if we didn't have rules and different things in place to preserve America for Americans, for citizens, that there would eventually be what we're finding out what's going on right now. I'm not quite sure who could measure up to her in 2025 as far as a Black representative speaking out right now, because the Democrats are totally sold on putting everything out there for illegals and immigrants, everybody else but Americans. They have totally sold out. It's like night and day to listen to Barbara Jordan and listen to the Democrats today. And she was a Democrat. She was a Democrat. But the Democrats that we have today, they are soulless, and they basically are willful participants in the destruction of America. There's just no other way to really put it. I know that Trump is not coming off as the nicest person in the world. A lot of stuff that he's doing seems a bit extreme and increasingly fast paced, your head spinning all over the place. But he's just trying to keep up with what has happened to this country, to be honest, the way I'm looking at it. The videos that I'm finding of immigrants all over the place, crimes, they're catching people with guns and drugs and plots of plans to mass shoot and do all kinds of stuff, illegals. We're going to go through those videos if I have time a little bit later, but I want to first set the premise of who and what type of leader we need to be speaking for us as Americans. And if they don't sound like Barbara Jordan back in the day in the 90s, then they're not speaking for the true Americans. Now, we do have a lot of people running around claiming that they are Americans, but they have other allegiances to other places, apparently. And I don't think that you can really, truly be an American if you have another place that you call home. That's my thoughts. A true American don't have another place to claim. Those are the true Americans. People that come over here just for 10, 20 years or whatever. You are, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but you are a citizen. You got a privilege. You earned or garnered a privilege. It's not a right. And you, as a citizen, if you choose to be here in America, because it is a choice, you came over here willful, you should understand that America should be preserved first and foremost over your feelings, over your thoughts about what you think about what America should look like and should feel like, because you chose to come. You did not have to be here. And you could always go back home whenever you desire to go. So I'm going to show this first video again. Shout out to Trump, because this is a video that he actually talked on, giving props on about Barbara Jordan. And I want to show what she had to say. I hope that you guys would support by hitting that like button. I, for some reason, have a hard time getting people to support my videos because, you know, I'm not appeasing and tap dancing for everybody to feel cozy inside, because this is just not that time to do all of that. It's just not really that time to do. So let me find this video. Okay, this is Barbara Jordan. Videos that I show, YouTube is under the Copyright Act of 1976, fair use. It's going to be for education and information, entertainment for those that take it that way. But I'm not meaning to impose or to infringe on anything. I just would like to share the truth, which in this time and age is really difficult for Americans to speak their truth. It's really easy for people that have come over here by choice to speak a lot freely. A lot of people are in support of them. You got a lot of advocacy for illegals and immigrants and things of that nature. But you really don't have a lot of people that's able to speak comfortably that are from the soil of America and without being called all kinds of lewd names that don't apply. But again, if you are not really American, you're not going to understand this video. But it's not meant to be a hateful video. It's just meant to set the record straight on what's really going on. No, you belong in Africa, sly, slick, wicked. I belong right where I've been all my life. And if you don't like it, you can get gone. I'm pretty sure that you are in America, though, trying to tell me that I need to go somewhere else, because that's what typical immigrants that are in America tend to do. They want to get us to switch places with them. You are in America telling me I need to be in Africa, but you're going to go and I'm going to stay because I'm at home and you're not. What's up, Simon? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'm not a mega, but I did vote for Trump, and I do believe that he is the right person for what is going on right now. And this video will break that down in depth. I'm just trying to pace myself to where I'm not going to be ranting and carrying on, but I am highly upset right now. But let's get to this video. Fair use.
President Trump raised eyebrows this week when he claimed he shares the same ideas on immigration as Texas political icon Barbara Jordan. Jordan is a revered figure with statues honoring her legacy on the UT campus and at Austin's airport. The Democrat became the first African-American woman to serve in the Texas Senate and the first woman to serve Texas in Congress. Jordan is remembered for her eloquence and her sense of justice and ethics. Some people see Barbara Jordan as the complete opposite of Donald Trump, so it took many folks by surprise when he compared his views to hers. On Wednesday, the president posted a message on the White House website saying Jordan backed common sense reforms and said his America First approach to immigration is in the spirit of Jordan's vision. Jordan led a bipartisan commission on immigration reform in the 1990s. She spoke about the commission's work in 1995, just a few months before her death.
We have concluded that a properly regulated legal immigration system is in the national interest. We support the basic framework of current policy, but I said properly regulated, and I mean that. Immigration is not a right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution to everyone anywhere in the world who thinks they want to come to the United States. Immigration is a privilege. It is a privilege granted by the people of the United States to those we choose to admit. But this...
And that's the key word. We chose. We do have the ability, and we should have the ability to have standards and boundaries and limitations on who comes in. And what the Democrats are doing now is they want to keep their voting base full of immigrants all over the place. That's why they flooded America without any regard to what is going on right now. And Trump, unfortunately, has to clean up what has transpired with all these immigrants being here. I mean, a lot of people expect us to care more about all these millions of people here instead of the likelihood of America standing and having sovereignty and being safe from terrorists, from people plotting and planning to do horrendous stuff and taking over cities such as Minnesota, doing the most all over the place is what's going on right now. It's like a scary, scary time to be here. And it should never have come to this situation. But again, the Democrats are not like what she was. Not even close. Not even close.
This is not a mere favor that we grant to people because we're generous. We're a generous nation, yes. But administration is in our national interest. We admit that. It is in our national interest to unite families and create economic growth and protect those who flee persecution.
The Jordan Commission called for ending immigration for low-skilled workers, enhanced border security, and preventing businesses from hiring people in the country illegally. President Trump says...
So again, let's read that again. She promoted... Hold on, I think that just...
Execution.
The Jordan Commission...
Okay, she wanted to end immigration for low-skilled workers. She also wanted to enhance border security. Lastly, she wanted to prevent hiring of people in the United States illegally. And all these things that she stood for, worked hard for, is all in vain with all the things that had happened with Biden. And now Trump is hoping to reset what has occurred. And I hope that it will be successful and, not a lot of people that, will get away with more scams and unalivings and all these other things that seem to be taking effect right now. But let's listen some more to this.
called for ending immigration for low-skilled workers, enhanced border security, and preventing businesses from hiring people in the country illegally. President Trump says that's what he wants to do, too. But does his vision really match up with Barbara Jordan's? For perspective, we turn to Ruth Wesum, a professor of policy practice at the LBJ School of Public Affairs.
At the time, 20 years ago, you had a strong push in the country to increase legal immigration, as well as those, much like today, there were people who would decrease legal immigration. So Barbara Jordan was driving that lane down the middle, trying to bring people together. If you look at the Jordan Commission recommendations, they also include modifications to the employment-based system and a robust refugee program. The modifications to employment-based would have been increasing the authorities of the Department of Labor to go after other kinds of violations, as well as it was the Jordan Commission that originated what we now call E-Verify. They saw one of the ways to deal with workers, foreign workers coming in and displacing U.S. workers, which has always been an issue, or at least a political issue. They saw the way of doing that is to create a system that's easy to use by employers. And we have that system today that any employer in this country can use if they choose. In terms of putting it in the national interest, you've got to remember that when Barbara Jordan talks about something in the national interest, think about that a second. What would Barbara Jordan think the national interest was? And is Barbara Jordan someone who's likely to be on the same page as President Trump when it comes to national interest? To me, that's a big question. I don't think that they would use the term national interest in the same way, because they're coming at the question from two very different perspectives.
After Jordan's death,
I think it's a little bit more closer than that. The way I took it, Barbara Jordan was American first. She wanted to make sure that America was not put in harm's way or made to bring in so many people that you couldn't manage or know who's here and what they're doing here and why are they here, what are their intentions, and how are they going to be a benefit to the country. I don't think it's far-fetched to think that she had some similar belief systems of Trump. I mean, she might not thought to go the way in which he's gone, so extreme, but she is not here to know how bad it's gotten. I wish she could have been around to, be a spokesperson when Biden was in office, because it seemed like no Democrat said a peep about none of the things that were taking effect with all the borders being open for so long. It was just like free for all. It was a free for all for so long. I got tailwind of all this stuff going on probably the last couple of years of Biden's administration, and I was really taken aback. I had no awares that our country would be so gullible and so stupid to deliberately sabotage by flooding America with anybody from all over the place. I just never fathomed that we would be that's so irresponsible. Never. Once I got wind of how many people were just coming over free nilly-willy, and all the crimes that were coming over here, and people are not in databases, their DNA is not anywhere stored to know who is who. I mean, it was just really unbelievable that a sitting president would place America in such harm's way. And people are so surprised that Trump now is on what he's on. I mean, what do you guys expect out there? That America just get run over by all the different foreign immigrants from all over the world and we just sit idly by and let it happen? No, we're not going to do that. So, it's sad that it even come to this. But you know what? Let's get to the grits and the nitty gritty of what I'm trying to talk about. Just recently, Delaware campus had an attack foiled. There was a Pakistani-born suspect that got arrested, and he was having big plans to do a lot of harm. And a lot of these people that come from other countries, they never fully become assimilated into our culture, and they don't love America. They always have a deep-seated hatred, an agenda to cause a lot of catastrophes and harm and unalivings. They got blood on their minds. And, you know, you got all these people running around trying to speak up for immigrants. But then when you bring up these types of stories I'm about to bring up, they are quiet. It's crickets. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They want to pretend like it's all in our heads, that it's make believe. But then when these attacks happen, then all of a sudden, oh my God, the guns and this and that and the other. But you Democrats allowed these people to flood in, or allowed them to easily get citizenship. No vetting, no concerns, no qualms, no nothing. And now we have these types of people that are in our midst. They're among us. And it's really, really sad. Take a listen to this.
Well, there's breaking news coming in at this hour. Now, police in America's Delaware say that they stopped a planned campus attack after arresting a former student who wrote about seeking martyrdom. 25-year-old Llhan, a Pakistan-born U.S. citizen, has been arrested after officers found him sitting in a closed...
Let me see if I can find a better video than that. I did not know she was going to be speaking like that. I could barely understand what she's saying myself, and I'm sure you might be having a hard time. So let me look this up again. Delaware campus attack, and see if I can get a better video. Hold on. Please hit the like button, by the way. I would greatly appreciate it. These things that I'm talking about needs to be talked about, because a lot of people are trying to, you know, drum up emotional strings, talking about blackness and all this other crap that does not matter, when the real threat, again, is about our sovereignty and about our safety. And that should never be taken for granted. And immigrants' plight should not ever go before the sovereignty and the security and safety of America and Americans, period.
All right, Kath, thank you. Developed tonight, a plot foiled, allegedly targeting a local university police department. Police accuse an undergrad student at the University of Delaware of planning the attack after they say they found weapons, armor, and a notebook detailing the plot inside the suspect's vehicle. This is him on the screen there. Made the discovery during a late-night traffic stop last week. Officers were checking out Canby Park West on Maryland Avenue in Wilmington when they attempted the traffic stop, saying the suspect had been parked there after hours. And that's where they ultimately took the 25-year-old into custody. Here's our Kelly Rule.
Federal court documents do not provide a timeline of any potential plans, but in an interview, documents say Khan told investigators becoming a martyr was one of the greatest things you could do and was a goal of his. A gun and a conversion kit, body armor, along with 4 loaded 27-round magazines. Newcastle County Police say this is part of what they found inside 25-year-old Llhan Khan's Toyota Tacoma in Canby Park West in Wilmington just after 11:45 the night of November 24th, the result of a traffic stop during 2 officers' routine patrol.
Rather than just shooing the person out saying, hey, the park is closed, they did police work. And this is how we were able to obtain this information and obtain this person's name and locate all these items that were inside this vehicle.
Also in Khan's car, a notebook, according to police, and what they found inside then turned the investigation over to the FBI.
This time we have reason to believe he was planning an assault on the University of Delaware Police Department.
Federal court documents state Khan's notebook outlined multiple firearms and how they perform. It also named a specific target, a member of the University of Delaware campus police. Another page, documents say, included a layout of a university building with entry and exit points and time of day. During a search of Khan's Wilmington home on South Van Buren Street, documents say investigators found a device that can convert a handgun into a machine gun, a rifle with a scope, among other ammo, and a tactical vest. Neighbors say Khan lived there alone for about a year, and they were terrified when investigators swarmed his home a day after his arrest.
I don't know if it's when they hit the door or when they hit the window. I have a piece on the inside. It literally shattered. That's how hard and loud, it was.
He was quiet. I heard from multiple people that when he went to the mosque, he was weird. They would try to be nice to him, and he just was he was standoffish. It's a really scary thought that it was so close to home, next to home.
At the University of Delaware, the interim president sent a letter this morning saying Khan is an undergraduate student and that he's banned from all UD campuses for the time being. She also outlined resources for students. A bar near campus on East Main Street with a sign thanking Newcastle County Police, as are current students.
I'm glad that they were able to take the student away and figure all that out, but it's just this should not be happening. It's just very, very scary.
Documents say Khan was born in Pakistan but moved to the United States when he was younger and is a U.S. citizen. They also say he has no prior convictions. Reporting at Newcastle County Police Headquarters, I'm Kelly Rule, Fox.
Again, he's from Pakistan. He came when he was a younger person, and it did not matter that he still somehow had these hatred or disdain for authority, for whatever in his mind what America stands for. And he was dreaming of being a martyr. There are plenty other people that are dreaming to be like him. They're running around screaming, they're Islamic, they're Muslims, whatever. They might be affiliated with some terrorist cell from another country, or practicing or studying up on those types of thinkers that believe to do this type of extreme violence to America, to Americans, to authorities such as the police and whatnot. I'm so glad that they were able to find this out before he attempted to do what he did. Just imagine it was so close, to him not even being able to be founded out if it wasn't for the police happening to be in that area to find him at the, I believe, park. But this is just another example what I mean why I believe that our citizenship should be contingent on people having allegiance to America. I think that if you are a citizen from somewhere else or born from somewhere else, that you should not be able to move so freely into power, into positions of legislation like Llhan Omar, because we see what they'll do potentially once they get into power. They will abuse their power. They will cut corners and manipulate the system. And we couldn't get away with that. Americans can't get away with something like that. Why are we leaving ourselves open for citizens of America that were naturalized to be able to get away with something like that? Let me see. I want to play more of this. Let me see what you're saying before I go. Oh, hi, Pinky. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Simon says this is happening in different countries, also driving their economy down. Yeah, it's really terrible. It's really, really bad. How you doing, Pinky? Thank you for being here. Pinky says, Trump just said the same thing I've been saying for years. Import the third world, become the third world. Yeah, that is what's literally happening right now. That's what's literally happened right now. So let's now look again at this Llhan Omar. She's been running around talking as if she is noble, righteous, and what's going on with the Somalians, somehow it's because Trump is a racist, and all these other things are going on that have no rhyme, no reason. It's just out the blue. She's not wanting to really deal with the fact that $1 billion were taken from Minnesota, from taxpayers, from frauding and scamming and lying. She doesn't want to deal with that. So she decided recently, on my last video, you can hear her talking about all of a sudden black immigrants are being targeted, trying to talk about, get close to our civil rights plights, black Americans. When Somalians are known for not claiming to be black, they want to be everything else but black. But she's trying to cover up, talking about Trump being a racist, and I think that Trump is just doing what a real man should do, which is protect our country from foreign actors that are out here trying to undermine and do harm to our country. And this is 2025. We're lucky enough to be around as long as we have, but other countries have fallen before, and I really don't want to see America fall in my lifetime. I really don't want to see our country fall. But if these types of things are allowed to continue, what's going on in Minnesota and other places, it will. Let's get to this video right here.
Governor Tim Walz hand over documents as we learn new details about the investigation into the $1 billion welfare fraud scandal. And new reports claiming Democratic Congresswoman Llhan Omar has deep ties to people who personally profited from the alleged fraud. That list includes one of her former campaign officials and a co-owner of the restaurant where Omar held her 2018 congressional victory party. It is important to note the Congresswoman has not been directly linked to the fraud herself. Joining us now is the Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives, Lisa DeMuth, who joins me now. And Lisa, thank you so much for doing just that. $1 billion in taxpayer dollars essentially lit on fire. What is your reaction to this staggering fraud scandal that has rocked your state?
For the last 7 years, we have looked at fraud that has exploded under Governor Tim Walz in autism services. Feeding Our Future, the food scandal during the COVID time, is the largest COVID food scandal, taxpayer money waste in the nation. And we've been sounding the alarm over the years. We're finally getting that national attention that we need so much here in our state to have full investigations. But you're right. It's over $1 billion in taxpayer dollars that have gone out to fraud instead of going to the people that needed those services the most.
Tim Walz is up for re-election. What are residents in Minnesota saying about this?
Tim Walz is up for his third election here in the state of Minnesota. People were surprised when he was re-elected for a second time. But when he was on the national stage just a year ago, it really let the nation know truly who Tim Walz is. It definitely let Minnesotans know his favorability is underwater right now. It's less than 50%, and it's mostly because he has not handled fraud, and he's increased our taxes and fees and spent through a record surplus.
You say that $1 billion could just be the tip of the iceberg. That's a pretty big iceberg. What do you mean by that?
Yes, and that is what we've heard from the acting U.S. attorney in the case, specifically looking at some of these things. That was said by acting attorney, U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson. He said this could be just the tip of the iceberg. It could push north almost to $2 billion. Again, these are taxpayer dollars that have been stolen by fraudsters here in the state of Minnesota.
Well, in 2020, according to the New York Times, the Minnesota Department of Education actually questioned Feeding Our Future, which is one of these fraudulent organizations, about all the requests that they were making. And the organization actually threatened the state agency and said that if you don't give us what we want, we're going to sue you, accuse you of racism. And I don't think we really want that kind of negative press. And the state agency caved. That's just one example of
And it shouldn't fly. We should, I just want to tell white Americans, I know that racism has been an issue here in America for many, many years. Not all of you are racist. I have met a lot of nice white people in my time. But a lot of people play off of what has happened in times past to make up a storyline for themselves, like this Llhan Omar. I mean, almost $2 billion stolen, and somehow, the rhetoric that Trump says, calling her garbage trumps what she has, her people have done in Minnesota. There's no direct ties yet to her right now. There may be later, I don't know. But, all this fraudulent activity, she acts like it's no big deal. And because Trump used the language of garbage, somehow that's supposed to make us feel more sympathetic to her and her plight, and we're supposed to put everything on racism. I don't think so. I think it's okay to not allow yourself to even go there mentally, because it's a lie, it's manipulation. And more of us as Black Americans should speak up like I am and say it's okay to feel free to fight back, to speak out, to say, no, we're not accepting that baloney. That's not going to fly. Let's keep it on the topic at hand, what the people in Minnesota are doing and what other scams that have been allotted to happen with all, there's so many scams as of late that have been coming out. I just can't even really keep up with it. But I want to finish this video up because I want to go to Llhan, whatever her name is, Omar. She is going to talk to Jake from CNN. He's going to ask her finally about the allegations of fraud in Minnesota. And I want you guys to hear what she has to say. And again, she wants to make it be about racism and not act like, frauding, Americans is no biggie. Like we're supposed to just move on with ourselves and just, bow down to them somehow. I mean, this superiority complex that she seems to have is just unbelievable. And you guys will see that in a little bit. Let's go.
The brazen nature of all of this that took place over the course of 5 years. Why do you think this took so long to uncover?
I think there's been a lack of accountability at the very top of our state. If threats were made such as those, you still push through, investigate the fraud, and stop the fraudulent payments that were going out. That is not what we've experienced here in the state. That is the change that we need from the very top. We're grateful that we've got federal partners that are coming in to truly investigate a number of these cases and look into the records. But accountability starts at the top. So that's with the governor and with his commissioners. That's not what we've experienced here in Minnesota.
Well, speaking of the top, of course, Governor Walz has been questioned about this now that it's been uncovered. And here he is talking about why he believes this took place in Minnesota. Watch this.
Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy.
So he says that this took place in Minnesota because he's doing too good of a job. What do you think about that?
AAA bond rating is not what criminals look at if they're going to come and do criminal behavior here in the state. What I would say is a well-run state, a generous state, and a prosperous state. But a well-run state does not attract criminal behavior. It means that the dollars that are collected from taxpayers go to the people that need it the most, not to fraudsters.
Yeah, and these people stole $1 billion for themselves while claiming it was going to autistic and hungry children. So let's hope that the punishment here truly meets the crime. Lisa DeMuth.
I mean, just think about that. A whole slew of Somalians claim to have children with autism, and then they turned around and claimed that they were going to feed hungry children or neighbors and with food and all this type of stuff. And they did not do not one thing at all. They didn't even play it off. They just lied. They just said something and never did nothing. I mean, the boldness of that, the gall of that, to think that they could just do whatever they want to do and nobody was ever going to check into it. They just thought they had it all sealed up. What's up, Edek? How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Okay, Pinky says, I don't know why foreigners got their hands on that much American money. It should not have been sent to any organization supporting people who are not Americans. That's what I'm saying. In my opinion, it's got to be an overhaul of change, and everything has to be about who is American here. And all the other people, it just seems like it's been flipped. The Democrats have flipped everything to be about illegals and immigrants. Like, I don't know how long this has been on the books like that, because I haven't been paying attention that long, just a couple of years. But it feels like it's been going on for at least maybe a decade. Can you imagine just 10 years of just abandoning Americans, ignoring vets, ignoring other people that are American born here, to put on a pedestal other people from other places? Like, that's the thing to do. Like, nobody in no other country does that. But somehow the mindset of American first went out the window, and we got other people that is trying to worship other groups of people over the Americans. Like, that's literally what has been going on. And it's like, who began this? I wonder if it was, was it just Biden or was it Obama? It might have been during Obama when all this stuff started. Come to think of it, because he didn't do a damn thing for Americans. Not like that. He was helping out the gay people. He was helping out transgendered and probably immigrants. It probably started with Obama, but he was not very vocal about it. Let me know if he was, in your mind, about immigrants more than, I know he wasn't for Black Americans, that's for sure. And I didn't see him bless anything except the Obamacare, which, a lot of people want to get rid of Obamacare. But yeah, it has to be at least 10 years of negligence, I think, that has been going on with these policies and this mindset to put immigrants over Americans. And that's just not what America was built for. My ancestors didn't battle all the things that they went through to put them over us. It's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. But let's look at Llhan Omar. In this video, I believe Jake is going to question her about the frauding that has happened in Minnesota. And we'll see what she has to say. Again, she wants to play it off on racism. Again, I'm telling everybody that's listening that is an American born from the soil, your allegiance is only known to America. Don't feel bad about caring about what happens to America. Stop allowing all this rhetoric of racism and all these other things that they're trying to spin to not have any ill effect to your common sense of keeping America the way we should have it, which is sovereignty and security and safety and self-preservation and all the things that every other country looks to do. And if they don't look to do, that's why the people that are getting deported need to go back and fix what's wrong over there in their country. I think that that's a good idea for them to go do. Self-deport, see how they can go to their governments and complain about what's not going on right over there and get it popping somehow. Stop badgering our government to get them to do things for you that they're not even doing for Americans no more. I mean, you are not God sent. In fact, you guys won't believe this, but I heard yesterday that many Somalians are claiming that Minnesota was promised to them 3,000 years ago. That Minnesota was promised to them. Just think about that. But let's look at this video real quick.
Democratic Congresswoman Llhan Omar of Minnesota is here with me now. First of all, federal prosecutors say 59 people have been investigated in these schemes so far. Americans at large stole tens of billions of forms of aid during the pandemic all over the country. Minnesota's fraud scandal stands out, according to federal auditors. What are you hearing from investigators right now?
Well, I've been following the cases closely as they've gone through the courts, and we know that there are more indictments possibly coming. I think that number might go up to 73 is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, you know, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Now, obviously, whatever the ethnic group, the actions of a few dozen...
All the guardrails were not created. So if you're not watching your money close enough and you're giving too much trust to us and my people, oh, well, we'll pirate that shit from you. That's the excuse she gives you. Oh, the guards were not up. You guys weren't paying attention close enough. Oh, well. We should be able to do whatever we want to do with your money. And I can just sit up here, feminine looking, and act like it's no biggie. Act like it's just like $100 we took from y'all. It's no biggie.
Should not impugn an entire community of thousands of people. Okay, I want to make that very clear. President Trump has used this fraud to make rather, to me, shockingly bigoted comments about Somalis in general, including you.
I mean, what kind of words would you use if you found out someone stole over $1 billion? I mean, how do you start a conversation about describing that scenario, actually? I mean, there is not really a good way of saying these people stole this money and they've been getting away with it for a very long time with the help of Democrats that are purposely allowing this condition to be in the first place. How do you say that without, you know, saying something that's going to be, provoking? I don't think it is racist to call someone garbage if you're acting and carrying yourself in such a way that represents yourself in that light. I think that if you are claiming to be like she's acting here, is performative, like she's righteous and poised and, oh, we're innocent, we really don't know how it happened, it was just a little bit of a hiccup here and a hiccup there, no big deal. Let's not go too far with name calling, though. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, in my opinion, if it's determined that she was involved, she should be in jail, just like the others. Fuck deportation. Get all that money, freeze the banks, do whatever you got to do to find the money, but join in the festivities of being arrested yourself and go to jail. I wouldn't give a damn. but she's looking for, trying to get sympathy from the audience, and she's trying to look as innocent as possible. This is performative at its best.
Entire Somali community in Minnesota. He did it yesterday and he did it again today. Let's run some of that.
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Llhan, Omar, who they say married her brother. She should be thrown the hell out of our country.
And that's another thing. People have been talking about a year or so that it was discovered allegedly that this woman married her brother, scammed the system to bring her brother over here to be also a citizen alongside of her. I think that she should be stripped of her citizenship if she lied on the application. I don't think you should be rewarded with thievery and scamming and misinformation. I think that she should be stripped of everything. I mean, if I wish I could tell Trump, to do whatever he needs to do to make an example out of her and all the ones that thought it was cool to do. Because we cannot allow these types of people to think it's comfortable to keep doing this type of stuff, because it's getting regular out here that these things are happening.
To those people, but they have destroyed Minnesota. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople. Okay, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our.
That's how I feel. I never knew that people could just come over here, not even be a part of America for 25 years, and her be a congresswoman, be involved in legislation, be able to be tone deaf to Americans and only see your people, the Somalians, to benefit them. He has got to make an example out of her, and I hope he does. And he's not going to be a racist to me if he does it. He will be actually the person that is served justice, in my opinion. Did the righteous, situation in this scenario. Put America first. That's what he campaigned on. He said he was going to be American first, and he should make sure that people that are not living up to that be dealt with. You can't have other allegiances and have other agendas, having a congressman or congresswoman title and running all over the place doing whatever the hell you want to do. We shouldn't even allow that to be.
Country.
It's pretty shocking to hear it, although I don't know how shocked you are at this point anymore. But Somali immigrants, in general, you in particular, have been the target of his attacks for a long time. What's your response?
Yeah, I'm not shocked because we know that the president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric when he is trying to scapegoat and deflect from the actual failures that he has himself. We know that this administration has not fulfilled the majority of the promises that they've made, whether it is bringing costs down, whether it is the tariffs that are decimating businesses in the United States, whether it is the possible war crimes that his defense secretary is committing. And so to me, it is important for us, one, to remind folks that we are Americans. We're not going anywhere, and we will continue.
But are you? You are not, in my opinion, an American. You are someone that manipulated the system. You hustled the system. You scammed the system. You got over on the system. You were a pirate to the system. If we knew that you brought your brother over here to marry him, you should be disqualified. You should not be protected and treated as if you're a little lamb to be treated, like a little baby lamb and that type of thing. No. But again, it's so easy to turn this all around and deflect and call everybody that feels different racist, bigoted, xenophobic, because that's how easy people are able to craft a scheme of lies about what they're, deflect on what they've been doing.
Continue to be in this country, and two, that Minnesotans are resilient, and we will continue to thrive.
What is the practical impact when a president of the United States?
Again, you're going to continue to fight? I wish that Jake would have asked her about the marriage, though. And if that is the truth, why is Trump taking forever to bring that up? I mean, he's talked about it, but I mean, make it to where it's in her face. And shouldn't that be a means of stripping someone's citizenship and get her up out of here? That's what I said. Get her gone. She's not benefiting Americans one iota. This is like a grab, just a what do you call it? A hijack. Let me see that we said millions of dollars in scammed. We can see that, but billions top officials were definitely involved. Yeah, they had to be. They definitely had to been paid behind the scenes. He said, actually, that's what those Democrats have been doing in longer than 10 years. You think so? Wow. Pinky also says, and those people come from countries where they are majority. They should not be allowed to claim being in a minority when they come to America. Exactly. They should not be able to claim anything pertaining to us. I hope that Trump will get wind of my videos and make it hard for them to have any access to claiming anything pertaining to our struggle. They weren't here to struggle it. So why are they claiming anything pertaining to it? You came over here willfully. You have a different argument altogether. You should not be tethering onto other people's storyline on what happened to their true history. It has nothing to do with your history. Your history started in 91 when you came here as a child. It started with the rescue of y'all from Somalia because of war. And y'all should just go by that, and that's it. I mean, you should not be talking about blackness and other things that have nothing to do with your plight over here, because you did not live black in Minnesota or in America. You guys lived Somalian. You guys stayed clear and free of the black experience and black Americans. So stop clinging to us, because you're not us. All right. You said Somalians are damned liars. Minnesota wasn't promised to them 3,000 years ago. How in the hell a piece of another country promised to them? Exactly. I'm going to get to that video. I was really shocked by that. But they literally are all on social media declaring Minnesota promised to them. And that just shows you the mindset that they have, the arrogance that they have, and basically the disrespect and disregard that they are, guests here. They're privileged here. They weren't birthright here. It's not a birthright. I mean, I wish that we could have made it a lot harder for people to just be given these citizenships all willy-nilly, the people that just got here. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me. It's kind of crazy to me. You said, I agree. Thank you for that, NY Kostai. How are you doing? Pinky says, she's worth $30 million. How did she make that much money on her salary? Bingo. But he won't ask her that type of question, I'm sure. Yes, Trump. needs to get her out of America. I think so too. I don't give a damn how I sound. I'm not a bigot. I'm definitely not a racist. I have no power to control anything, but I do have my opinion, and I think that we should make an example out of her and get her gone. Run her ass out of here. Exactly. Somalians are not Americans. No, they're not. None of them. They're not Americans. I don't give a damn what they say. You said YouTube snatched my comments. Okay. Now we know why their country is trash. Exactly. Just like the most third world countries. Exactly.
States demonizes an entire group of people based on ethnicity. And again, you can point to any ethnic group and find dozens of people in that ethnic group who are committing a particular crime. The mafia comes to mind, right? But no one, you don't hear people saying that about Italians. They did 100 years ago, but they don't do it today. What is the practical effect on the Somali community when the president says things like that?
I mean, it creates fear. And there is a possible danger that a lot of the people who follow the president have exhibited violence in many cases, especially in my case, whenever he has said something about me that is derogatory or says I'm a threat to the country. I've gotten death threats. There's so many people that have been incarcerated over the years that have been encouraged by the president's words. And so there is fear for Somalis, not just in Minnesota, but across the country, that some of these people might attack and harm them.
Ahead of the immigration crackdown in Minnesota, CNN asked the Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin about the remarks from the president. Here's what she had to say.
This is not about politics. This is about public safety. We saw what just happened last week with the terrorist attack against us here in our nation's capital, where one of our great heroes, Sarah Beckstrom, was killed. That's what the precipice of this was.
What's your response to that?
Well, it's certainly not. We know that Somalis, over 90% of them, are citizens of this country, majority of them having born in the United States. And we know that if you are a criminal, you already have deportation orders, and there is an easy way for them to do that instead of creating this sort of fear where they are having raids. And today we saw them stopping citizens, and people were proving their citizenship by showing their passports. And so we know it has really nothing to do about keeping a community safe. It's actually terrorizing a community and creating fear.
Congresswoman Llhan Omar, thank you so much for being here.
I believe, again, I'm tired of these people already. Get her gone. Like I say, if she married her brother, and it can be founded out that really happened, strip her of her citizenship because it's a fraud. And I think according to the citizenship process, if it is founded out that you did commit lies on your application and whatnot like that to marry your brother, that disqualifies you from having a citizenship. And again, make an example out of her. Now let's get to this video. This is the video that really shocked me. Somalians believe that Minnesota was promised to them 3,000 years ago. So this is their real mentality. They really believe that they have the authority and the right to take over and do whatever they want to do because it's been ordained and promised to them according to them.
Yo, Minnesota was promised to us Somalis 3,000 years ago. And if you disagree, you're an anti-Cushite bigot and you need help immediately. Also, if you read Genesis 12:3, it says that those who bless Somalis will be blessed, and those who try to harm them will bring harm upon themselves. I didn't say that.
It does not say Somalian in the Bible scripture at all. He's just making up stuff as he goes. These people really think that they are superior. Just look at his attitude. They think that they are superior and they think that they are better. And they are entitled. For what reason? They have not done anything for America for generations. And they come over here acting like their shit don't stink. This is really, really bizarre. But this is what they're on.
Genesis 12:3. Just saying.
Those who bless the Somalis will be blessed, and those who curse the Somalis will be cursed, according to Genesis 42. You know, Minnesota was promised for the Somalis 4,000 years ago. These pictures clearly prove these are the founding fathers of Minnesota. His name is Abdullah Muhammad Washington. You know, you can't tell it. It's not edited. You can argue with what I say, what are these Somalis saying, but that's the truth. Minnesota belongs to the Somalis. It's a promised holy land for them. This picture you see right now, his name is Abdi Farah. He was welcomed by the natives. They ate dinner and everything together. They had something called a Minnesota Tea Party. You know what I'm telling you right now, Somalia, you know what I'm telling you right now, Minnesota is a holy land for the Somalis. That's that. It was promised for them 3,000 years ago.
The people of Somalia, Minnesota, look like me. You know why? Because this is our land. Minneapolis or Mogadishu. You see the similarities? Almost 3,000 years ago, this is our promised land.
A lot of white nationalists are really upset about Somali.
I think you get the gist. There's all of them that think this way, apparently. And I never heard of this before until yesterday, but I definitely was like, whoa. They definitely are on smoking something, because America was not built with them in mind at all. But they have put themselves out there as being superior, and they're acting as if they're the Jewish version, here in America, like to be treated like Jewish people on some type of level like that, to be put on a pedestal and worshipped and stuff. We're not doing that. None of you guys are deserving of anything of the sort. Get the hell out of here. In fact, I had learned a while ago that Muslims don't really consider lying to people that are non-Muslims as being really a punishment or a sin. Let's look at this. Let's try to get into the mindset of Somalians and how they be on what they be on. There's a couple of videos that I want to show now. And again, lying, there's a little bit of wiggle room to work around lying to people that are non-Muslims. This is what they practice. This is what they believe.
Second question, is lying a major sin? He says, we know that we're allowed to lie in 3 cases. But other than these cases, would lying be a major sin? The answer is, it depends. It can be major sin, and it can be a minor sin. And among the minor sins is when you lie jokingly. And this is his third question. This is not permissible, and some say it is not recommended, but the most authentic opinion is lying jokingly is not permissible unless they know for sure that you're joking. In this case, it becomes not recommended. But even if they did not know, as long as you're joking and it's not something of seriousness, it's not a major sin, it's a minor sin. As for the punishment for lying, he recalls a hadith that the Prophet saw in one of the visions, a man standing behind another one sitting down and coming with a piece of iron and putting it in his mouth and tearing it to the back of his neck. And then he does the same with the other side. And when he does this, the other one heals, and he keeps on doing this until the day of judgment. This is in the grave. So the Prophet asked, who is this and why is this being done to him? And they tell him, the angels with him, that this is from a person who lies, and his lie spreads all over the globe. So this fits like a glove the people of the media who spread fake news, as they say, the people on WhatsApp, the people on social media, where people take whatever they say
and publish it and relay it, this falls in that category. But this is only for such mass lies. Other lies depend on their gravity, and Allah knows best.
No, that is not the right video. But anyways, what I had heard is that Muslims can lie to non-Muslims, and it's not to be attributed as being a sin the way in which we would attribute it that as Christians or other people that look at lying as being not good. So it's just really odd to me. I don't really know a lot of different things about Muslims or whatever like that. I just know that they have weird views on certain things, especially how women move. And Somalians, I heard that they aren't all the same. They have different tribes within themselves. And there's actually a video out here where a Somaliland activist is going to offer some type of understanding in reference to the representative Llhan Omar and this Somali fraud in Minnesota. And this, I believe they're not the type to get along per se. I think that they are feuding tribes. But she's going to give an account of a different perspective to look at how to perceive Llhan or Llhan, whatever her name is. Her name to me is whatever. Anyways, let's get to this.
A common language, a common border, but somehow worlds apart. A Somaliland activist offers some perspective on Congresswoman Llhan Omar, Somali fraud in Minnesota, and more. Next. Amid growing tensions, significant backlash, and violent threats, my next guest here is wishing to remain anonymous. We're going to call her Sonia for this interview to help protect her identity. Sonia, thank you so much for being brave and speaking out.
Thank you, Liz Collins. Thank you, Alpha News, for inviting me. I truly appreciate you, and I'm honored to be here with you.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. I know there's a lot to talk about here, but before we get into the details, I do think it's important for people to understand the cultural similarities and differences between what is the Republic of Somaliland and Somalia, and how these are playing out in Minnesota right now. So, Sonia, what can you tell us about that?
So the Republic of Somaliland is a country in East Africa, in the Horn of Africa, by the Gulf of Eden, a very strategic location for most of the world, to be honest, and also very critical for U.S. national security and trade. And to the east of Somaliland, we are bordered by Somalia. So Somaliland is a country, we have a distinct culture. One of the big differences between Somaliland and Somalia is the adherence to the rule of law. The people of Somaliland truly believe in the rule of law. This is something that we have always adhered to, is in our customary laws. The main goal of Somalia is to erase Somaliland from the map because they want our strategic location.
So, Sonia, over the past few years, as the never-ending trials, it seems, in the Feeding Our Future scandal have been playing out, we've been hearing more and more about what has now become known as Somali fraud in Minnesota. Where do people from Somaliland fit into all of this? Or I guess, do they, is the question.
You can look at the Feeding Our Future scam. I think out of the 78, I think 76 are from Somalia, and I think 2 are Americans. That also shows you that there is a distinctiveness here, and there is a common trust amongst the people of Somaliland. You can see that because Somalilanders believe in the rule of law, they thrive in countries like the United States of America. We have people in from Somaliland who are in America, who have very good, high-paying jobs, very decent jobs, and I think it's because of this adherence to the rule of law and different cultures.
In a way, Sonia, it seems that you weren't even surprised about this fraud in Minnesota.
Absolutely not. We saw it coming because we used to wonder, why are people not talking about this? We were always seeing stories, Somali gangs, Somali murders, Somali theft. We asked ourselves, how is it possible a small group of people, Somalians are not many in the United States, but they were able to get away with so much? I think the people of Somalia are a direct reflection of the Somalian government and its ability to manipulate, its ability to deceive, its ability to act vulnerable, to always blame, scapegoat.
Bingo. They got it down packed with acting vulnerable. The way that Llhan Omar was acting in the interview was reminding me of a baby lamb, something that you got to take care of and shield from the harsh, storms and stuff like that. Playing our emotions, manipulating us. It's a script. It is not real. She knows exactly what she's doing. And I hope that us as Americans would not fall for the okie doke. We cannot afford to.
To get away with so much. I think the people of Somalia are a direct reflection of the Somalian government and its ability to manipulate, its ability to deceive, its ability to act vulnerable, to always blame, scapegoat, and gaslight. For example, if I spoke out about Somalia, this is the names they call me. They call me a Christian lover, Galra. They say that you are secessionist. They say you are separatist. So only the strong can truly withstand the onslaught. The attack is so massive and vast. A Caucasian person in America, if that person is told that, oh, you are anti-Muslim, you are anti-Black, so people are silenced.
Along with all the fraud, Minnesota Congresswoman Llhan Omar has been facing increasing scrutiny these past few weeks, with comments recently from President Trump calling for her to be investigated, even demands for her deportation. But as someone who's been an activist for Somaliland, not Somalia, what is your perspective on her personally and politically as well, Sonia?
So these people from Somaliland are highly persecuted. So many of them tend not to speak up. Llhan Omar is someone that I know isn't telling the American people the truth. She is in the Democratic Party. She talks about democracy. She talks about human rights. But Llhan Omar disregards 6 to 8 million people that are Muslims, by the way, that are Black, by the way, that are found in Somaliland. She called us Somali Iskusheg, meaning those who call themselves Somali. Llhan Omar has lied to the American people. I don't truly know how to give back to America, but I know that I'm an American patriot, that when we had nothing, this country gave me everything. She scapegoats the people who call out her ineffectiveness, because I haven't seen Llhan Omar demanding accountability in Minnesota. She's pointing fingers, calling everybody a racist, an Islamophobe. So to me, Llhan Omar is a fraud, and I'm hoping that justice knocks on her door very soon.
Sonia, thank you again for speaking out and helping us better understand the situation here in Minnesota.
Thank you so much, Liz. I truly appreciate you. I appreciate Alpha News. Thank you so much.
That'll do it for this episode.
Well, I definitely appreciate Sonia, the lady that broke that down for us and telling us how disingenuous this Llhan Omar is. I don't buy nothing that she says. I've never liked her. Something about her always turned me the wrong way. It always rubbed me the wrong way. And now we understand what the hell's been going on. After all this time, she's been taking advantage of our system and lying to our faces and acting like she got our backs as Americans, and just not giving a damn, just taking advantage and allowing her people to just run amok. I mean, I hope that again, Trump, you going hard in the paint. Just go ahead and take her out. Like, she needs to go back to Somalia or go to Africa, wherever the hell. I mean, she don't have to go to Somalia. She just got to get the hell out of America. Just get the hell out of America. There is nothing to be benefited by her and her people. Supposedly, like 80% are on welfare and being taken care of. They're just having kids all over the place and stealing money and building businesses and just doing everything off of the fumes of what America can offer. They have not provided nothing of their own at all, but by thievery. That can't be allowed to fly by. I think that it would be a very bad example to set for other immigrants that is watching all this stuff happening. They're taking heed on what is happening, and so Trump should make an example out of her. I mean, it's time. Let me see. I think I had one more video to show. But getting back to Barbara Jordan, like I said, I'm not the best speaker. I'm very much so very rough around the edges and just speak the truth. I really don't have a political correct way of saying what needs to be said. It's not coming out eloquent and all that, because what's going on is not to be treated elegant. I don't think none of that, and just the manipulation that I'm seeing is going on. It's just so frustrating that we're witnessing all of this. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room before I continue. I'm going to end this live in about another half an hour. I think I have one more video to show. But again, I just hope that people take heed of what Barbara Jordan say and have that mentality. That's what I hope that we do. We have the mentality that Barbara Jordan had, because that is how we're going to survive. That's how we're going to survive. You said the same people, no different. None of those people are Americans. No, they're not American, but you do, and you can have a few people that have allegiance to America. That's why, they know that they've been spared. Their life has been saved. They have, allegiance because America really helped them out of a really dark place. But we see that there's not everybody that has that same mindset. They feel entitled. It's so pitiful after all this time that I've been on YouTube, how Black Americans have been the poster child of all the things that is wrong with America. And they do this kind of thing on YouTube deliberately, showcasing us as being the problem, when all along immigrants are just doing whatever. They're being helped out. And luckily that faucet is being shut down. I'm glad that faucet is being turned off. And like I said, for some strange reason, Americans are having a harder time speaking up, like we used to, because, it's just set in stone what the Democrats are trying to do. I'm going to show you guys an example of that before I go. Let me see. Oh, you know what? I wanted to show something before I go also. There was a video, an older video, where Somalians were, I guess, having their Sunday meeting at the mosque, and they were preaching about polygamy, saying that, it's okay to marry more than one wife, and we were brought up in this conversation with this Somalian that was trying to ridicule Black Americans and not having fathers. Like, everybody always keeps us on the brain, and they always like to compare us to them. to make themselves feel superior and better. They bring us up. Let me see if I can find the timestamp for this. Oh, man. Let me see. Probably can't find it. Where'd you go? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Now listen to this. Hold on.
But you might as well at that point. You know how Nigerians got the stay away from the Akata? This is the Somalian version of stay away from the Akata, okay? All right. So stay away from the Akata. So when y'all want to be pious and when y'all want to be...
Hold on. I thought it was about to play. Hold on. Where'd it go? Come on now. Play it. Play it.
Put your ethnicity first. You're Somali.
Hold on. Is this going to do that? Okay. This is Afro Elite. I hope this is the timestamp coming up.
Start a business. When y'all participate and do anything productive in society at all, you put your ethnicity first. You're Somalian. You don't even know why you're referred to as black. You don't want to be referred to as black. That's what you say. Okay? That's what you teach. You're literally teaching to stay away from us. Okay? What I showed you right here, this is an extreme version. Hold on, not this one, this one. This is an extreme version of stay away from the Akata. Y'all not even saying the word Akata, but you might as well at that point. You know how Nigerians got the stay away from the Akata? This is the Somalian version of...
I don't...
For Somali people, and he is sending ICE into the Somali community. Black people, you might want to sit this one out. Even though you can look at the Somali people and see that they have black, brown skin, you cannot tell them that. They say they don't look like black people. The culture is different. They don't want anything to do with blackness and black culture. They do not fuck with black people, and they get mad if you call them black. And the sad part is, this is deeply rooted. They are taught this shit in the churches, in their community.
They will tell you, I don't know my father. Well, who named you? Whose name are you carrying? When my mother chose his name for me. I don't know. Is that what we want for our ummah? No. كلهم أو معظمهم أبناء الزنا. أبناء الزنا. Why? Because man, he has to give up the sin. And because the marriage will limit them, they will go from one to another to a third.
Somalis are not black. Let me explain why. Looking at me right now, am I black? I'm literally brown. I'm literally brown, bro. Think about it as well. Somalis are Arabs.
Are you guys back? I have some people back.
Anyways, the first video, the guy was talking to his congregation about, polygamy, and he was bringing up, what he doesn't want his people to be like, and he was trying to indicate that Black Americans don't know their fathers, they just sleep around, they don't have morals. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that. Everybody likes to bring us up to make themselves be put on a higher level of whatever. And that just goes to prove to y'all, again, they don't respect us. They don't like us. They don't want nothing to do with us. But all of a sudden, when they get in trouble, they now want to scramble and call themselves black when it's convenient. And they want us now to be out in the streets yelling, oh, they're black, you can't do this to black people. No, no, no. These people come here. They have their own agendas. They're trying to replace us. They're competing with us. There is no reason or rhyme for us to be on the side of immigration and illegals and all this frauding going on and scamming going on. It just does not make sense as an American to be on board with that type of mentality. It just does not line up. You said, but they're black when it's time to file lawsuits for discrimination. Yeah, apparently so. They are not black, and we need to teach our people to stay away from them. Exactly. Yeah, we got to. But unfortunately, we do have Pan-Africans who are always going to be the ones to make up this unity bullshit talk that doesn't exist for the sake of calling each other black. And it's all a scam, all of it. And they're looking very stupid right now, even bringing up Pan-Africanism and talking about blackness and unity and all that. That shit does not hold weight. It does not fit the bill for what's going on. Everybody is out here for themselves. And the only ones that are confused, unfortunately, are the black Americans, the indigenous American blacks. But you know what? We do have a wild card, and that is Trump. Thank goodness we have Trump. So all the confusion and all the silly birds, the ghetto birds, the people that like to call themselves niggas, the Pan-African goofies that are crash dummies, that want to be used as useful fools, are now being blocked out of the conversation. Because Trump has taken it upon himself to get this shit handled. And I'm so glad that we have Trump in office that's going to make the decision that we could not make as a unit, because we're too fragmented. I was just watching Color Nation yesterday, and there's a whole host of immigrants, African immigrants, that are trying to make us feel some kind of way about the predicament of Somalians. And there was even a Somalian guy that got on the platform. Let me play that before I go. And I thought it was very fascinating, because they never really come on platforms no more. I know that there was one Somalian woman that I kind of liked a little bit. I think she's in the UK. But I can't, even though I thought she was decent to talk to, I can never side with what is going on in Minnesota. Under no circumstance would I ever think that that is legit. But on Kala Genesis or Kala Nation, this Somalian hopped on and he wanted to ask the question about, black Americans, and why don't we know the difference between Africans and Somalians? Because we don't care and we don't have to. Okay, you guys are not trying to, know us unless you need us. And that's the only reason why he showed up in the first place, to even talk. Because all the times that Kala's been on the platform, I don't think I've seen Somalians come on there or anything. And then all of a sudden, he sought out Kala, who is a goofy Pan-African, to spread this rhetoric of Pan-African talk, and why can't we get along, and why can't we look into other people? We don't need to look into y'all. No, we are not going to stop what we're doing to now be concerned about you, because now you guys are in a pickle right now. You guys should have thought about that years upon years ago. If there would have been some way of unifying with us then, that those days are gone. You cannot all of a sudden get us to help you, like you got us in your back pocket type of thing. But listen to this real quick.
Mr. Carter, can I speak? Yeah. Okay, and salute to you, and salute to Afrodamas. Afrodamas is correct. I am a Somalilander. I'm not Somali, from mainland Somalia. Number one, I just want to say real quick, regarding the Trump situation that's happening right now with Somalis, I want to address why do African Americans think Somalis are just one clump of cells? Do they don't know we are broken in three? There's Somalia, Puntland, and
again, we don't know y'all because y'all never introduced yourself. We don't know y'all because y'all secluded yourself and did what you did for your own people and had your mind fixated on helping your people. I understand that is a good way to be for survival, but you did it to a detriment. You did it to the point where you don't have any allies in us. Of course, you got liberals on your side. You have other immigrants on your side because they have the same goal to come over here to America and take over. So you have, allies in that regard. But for some reason, y'all really feel like we should be also on the side of you, which is conflicting against Americans being the ones that are focused on here in America. We don't want to take the focus off ourselves and place it on to y'all when y'all never considered us. That doesn't make sense for us to now start doing.
Somaliland.
Can I answer that?
No.
Because y'all all look alike. Come on.
Nah, bro, this is a Somali. Let him speak from knowledge.
Well, for Somaliland is
And that's another thing. Yes, he did call us African American. They are so insistent on continuing to call us African American when they know that we don't like that term, and they know that other Africans have been utilizing that term. And this is why we are delineating and making it clearly understood that we are not African Americans. We want to be called either Indigenous American Blacks, ADOS, FBA, Native American, or other names that signifies that we are not immigrants. We do not want to be grouped into one block of blackness to where our identity is confused and lost in the translation. This is why delineation is here, and that's why a lot of Africans are upset, because they can't manipulate us no more by that terminology of African American, because it dumbs us down to our true birthright here in America. That's why we're getting away from that term. But he's utilizing that term because, again, that is just kind of like trying to put us in our place. That's why he's talking like that.
Recognized country.
Be quiet, bro. Let the Somali speak, man. He knows more about it than you do.
All right, let the gentleman speak. He's a new person. Let him speak. Good.
Yeah, like I'm trying to address the point, and it's always fun and games, but I'm dead serious. Like, just because Somalis in Minnesota, you have to understand what tribe are they from. Are they Darod? Are they Hawiye? Are they Isaf? I'm sure economics, people like South African. No, because this shit, we are not one. We are not one, sir. We are not one. So if you want to deport 7 people, so be it. I will not defend them, because I know people like Llhan Omar, for example, her people, they wanted to generate. Sorry, I'll be careful. Unalive my people in the 80s, because her family was connected to Siad Barre. And if you guys know about Siad Barre, he was a communist Marxist that was trying to first initially go after Ethiopia, failed mission with the Ogaden mission. And then when the money ran out.
So he's telling us this story because he's trying to get sympathy from us. He's trying to make us hear violins in the background. It's too little too late. We know you guys are tribalistic. We know that you guys had some type of war. We know that you guys have clans and all kinds of chaos and, just unalivings of one another. There ain't no such thing as Pan-Africanism when it comes to Africa. That's why I wish you guys would just leave us alone. Just leave us alone. We're not bothering you. We do not want to be concerned with your situation, because you guys have been isolated and kept, in your mind, sacred and secluded for that reason, because you in your mind told yourself you guys are the chosen people. And so what do you want to talk to us for now? Why do you want to now know what we think? Why does it matter? That's just a way of trying to get us to feel something for you. And we don't feel nothing for you. The ones that have a brain do not feel a motherfucking thing. Don't feel nothing.
Use the Isaf people
the northern Somalis, my people, as a scapegoat to go after them because he needed a reason to just attack someone, and then he ran away. So I'm saying this is why 1991 Somaliland was established. So my question to Black America: why do you have the need to attack Somalis as one when you should know about geography and history of Africa?
Let me ask you a question.
We wouldn't have a word to say if you guys weren't doing what, well, maybe you're not doing the scam itself, but if it wasn't such big news, and the fact, again, like you guys were isolated and you abstained from conversating or getting to know anybody for all this time that you've been in America on purpose because you thought you were better and you thought that you were precious and all these other things, pure and all that type of talk that you guys have in your head. You feel like you're precious and no one can touch you. You're untouchable type of vibration that you give off. We don't want to concern ourselves with you. We really don't care, to be honest. So I wish that Africans would understand, for the vast majority of us, we just are not interested like that. The only reason why we're talking more about Africans as of late is because you guys are constantly talking about us. You guys are bringing us up on every live. You guys are talking about what we're talking about. You guys are arguing about our identity. You guys are saying, why don't we care? And all these other types of things that you keep bringing to us as if we're like your father and mother or something, or Jesus, that's supposed to sacrifice ourselves for your common good. We're not here for that. What Martin Luther King did, Malcolm X and others have done, that era is over. This is a whole new era, and it's not about trying to be about everybody in the world. Sorry. It's about us maintaining ourselves. It's about us respecting ourselves. It's about us acknowledging the fact that we are American and that we want to have the same mindset as one another moving forward with all the different changes that are happening now. We don't want to be involved in everybody else's business because it does not do nothing for us collectively. What does it do? It just drains us and bogs us down. We don't need to be drained. We don't need to be bogged down. We don't need to be bashed and worried. So I wish that you guys would do what you preach about, which is this fake notion that you have all the answers and you know what you're doing and you're so smart and you work hard. Well, this is the time to exhibit all of that without us, though. This is not the time to be leaning on us, hard body, clinging to us for dear life, acting like we're going to be your safety net and your life jacket. No, we're not. We're not going to be that. You said, For Black, do you know that California has law that delineated us from Africans and Caribbeans? Yes, I heard. Yes, I heard. It's a good start. Pinky says also, we don't care about Africans or the African continent. We don't. I mean, I have met in my life a couple of decent Africans, but it's been in passing. It's been in passing. I'm just not really interested like that because I don't think it is, in a lot of ways, a true relationship to be had right now because we are on different plights. I'm trying to self-preservate and you guys are trying to compete and replace us. I mean, it just doesn't work out very well to be with competitors and unify with competitors. I mean, no, that cancels each other out. You said immigrants stay away from us because they are ashamed of where and what they come from, and they see what our ancestors did for us and what their ancestors didn't do for them. Yeah, in my mind, it looks as if they want us to do the very thing in which we were known to do. A lot of those people lay down their life. And we're not going to lay down our lives for y'all. No, we're not going to do that. Sorry. You said if they were smart and hardworking, they would not be fleeing to every corner if the earth. Exactly. I'm going to play a little bit more of this and then I'm going to wrap this up. But I just wanted to say it's okay, Americans, to think like Barbara Jordan. If you don't remember nothing else that I said, it's okay to only think like Barbara Jordan and stop trying to be, we are the world. We got to save everybody. We do not have the capacity to do all of that. We really don't.
Let me ask you a question.
In the context of the Somali deportation.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question, bro. Let me ask you a good question. How come Somaliland have not made it, like South Sudan, they start drawing up their map way before they had independence. So this is going to be our line.
Somaliland is not a recognized country, guys.
I know. What I'm saying is this. Hold up. We can recognize it if we want to.
We are waiting for Trump is the recognition.
Can I ask this guy one question?
I would think
it's my turn. It's my turn after he goes, bro. I know. I just want to ask him a question. Why are 90% of them on welfare? They might have different jobs, but they're all on welfare. They when it comes to sucking up the government.
You think? Vance, can I ask you one question?
We got a lot of people speak, man.
I just want to ask you a question. As a Somalilander, are you, correcting Somalians when they call other black people Jarers and monkeys? And
he's the one that's being called Jarers.
No, he's not. He's not being called Jarer.
Why does that matter? Most Somalians are phenotypically.
I can't even answer. God damn, can I answer? I can't even answer. The man's asking me a question and you guys are over bombarding me. Control yourself, please. Who's asking the question? Who's asking the question? Okay. So the Jareer question. Yes, so Somalilanders do still use Jareer, but it depends because, you still have a caste system in Somalia and Somaliland. There's a caste system with the Bantus as well. So yes, some of us we do call Bantus and dark-skinned African American Jareer. I won't deny it. I won't lie to you.
And what does it mean?
Basically, it's just like dark skin, white nose, hard hair, Bantu features. That's a Jareer.
So undesirable.
Pretty much, because most Somalis are Afro-Asiatic, more aquiline features, more, slim noses. Okay, yes, we do have the forehead and all that. But the Jareer mainly is like Bantu, like from parts of East Africa.
Is it a derogatory term that people use?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'll be honest. Yes, it is. Sure.
Okay. Let me come in here, right? Because I live in Minnesota and I know a lot of Somalis. And Kyla, you being a bit ignorant earlier on when you was talking about the Somali issue, because I don't think you understand the history of Somali migrants to the United States.
You notice how he glossed over the guy explaining that they call black folks Jarers and that it means that you're basically untouchable. Well, you're not liked and you're perceived as being ugly. And he wants to do what most Africans do, is just run interference and just ignore what the guy just said, because he was being honest. This is their perception of us overall, as being less than, being unattractive. They don't want to deal with us, and he's trying to clean it up.
In 1992, there was an operation called Restore Hope, when the United States went into Somalia, in concert with the United Nations to try to, stop the civil war and the famine that was going on there. So a lot of Somalis came here as refugees. People coming into this country as...
Oh, let me ask you, Elvis.
I haven't even had 10 seconds to even speak, brother.
I have some more in mind, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give you some background, right? So they came in as refugees. The United States usually do that when they get into countries that have conflict, like Vietnam and Laos and other places like that. These people come on the burden of the United States government. So when they come here, They don't have a sponsor, where a normal immigrant who's coming here will probably need a sponsor, like a family member who have a job, have some money in the bank account. So the government take that responsibility, and that's mostly what most of these Somalis came on as refugees, right? And it was concentrated, they are concentrated here in Minneapolis and in St. Cloud. It's like an hour and a half away from Minneapolis. And the Somalis here, you know, they're a mixed bag. I mean, they're industrial people, they have their own markets, they have their own trade. They paid about $67 million in taxes just this last tax year. They are productive to the Minnesota society.
But you have to stop lying. And
hold on, brother. I'm not telling you it's all roses. Just be quiet for a second. On the other hand, you have a group of them who have allowed the goodwill of the government of Minnesota and the fact that they're trying to help them because they're a big part of the city of Minneapolis, and they have scammed the state out of hundreds, if not billions of dollars in Minnesota, and it really made a bad name for all the Somalis. But when President Trump says that these people bring nothing, or why are they even here, he doesn't understand as a president the United States brought them into this country as refugees because some of them collaborated with the U.S. government when they went into Mogadishu in 1993. Some of them was spies and collaborators. Some of them were just economic refugees. That's why they came into the United States.
Wait, I'll ask the Elvis. Respect.
Yeah, you can go 1776. I'll pass the time.
Listen, man. Refugee is not an eternal status, man, right? A refugee is the temporary status. We give you a safe haven, you get to relax. Then you got to go back to build your country, man. These guys, man, they 80,000 deep, having 3, 4, 5 babies, right? Unreported, right? Got a whole goddamn city, right? They might say they're different tribes, but they all practice bullshit, right? All practice laziness. They all practice eating out the system, right? So they really aren't compatible, and they can't really integrate into the black society or the dominant society. They're not like Jamaicans or people from West Africa that try to assimilate into black culture. These guys' culture is foreign, man. They're foreign, man. Like they don't like black people, they don't like Bantus, they don't like West Africans, so they're like racist too. Oh man, fuck them. Get them the fuck out of here, man.
I'm so glad that finally someone spoke my language. You just don't know, because most times when Black Americans are on these platforms with Africans, they be trying to bow down to them. They be allowing them to say any and everything, and they be acting like they're like children waiting to get patted on the head. And I'm so glad that he did not allow that to happen. I do believe that, if you do help out refugees and everything, it should be a limit. They should not be allowed to take over cities and stuff. That's not right on any level, to allow any immigrant to come over and just take over, a hostile takeover of a city. That's just ridiculous. So I believe every word that he just mentioned. But look at the pushback real quick.
Can I rebut your point, sir? Can I rebut your point, if I may, real quick? And I want to address the fellow earlier before you, because I can't see names. I see the avatar. The guy under me.
Elvis.
Now, this is the Somalian that's about to speak, by the way.
Elvis, my bad. Sorry, sir. I think what happened with Siad Barre before he got ousted during the Civil War, because I remember him talking to Reagan, and I think they established the dialogue, immigration to America. That's why you see a lot of Minnesotans. They're not landers, sir. They're mostly dialogue. Dialogue are like the main Somalis from mainland Somalia. Those are the people that are trying to delete me and my family. That's why we escaped in 1988 during the Civil War.
Catch the fact that he said that those are not his people. He's also near, or what do you call it, conflicting with this other group of Somalians, but he's not their people. But you have Africans that's trying to tell us that we are one and the same with them. So just think of the magnitude of hustling and manipulation that Africans use on us emotionally to try to get our guards down, to have us believe that we are one and we brothers and sisters, when all along they're looking to take advantage and to backstab us and then use us and spit us out and move on and advance over us. That's the name of the game. That's what these Africans and Caribbeans have been wanting and have been caught doing. I will do a live showcasing that. They've been caught doing. They help their groups out specific. They deliberately bypass Black Americans, block them from having access to jobs and other opportunities. They save positions and posts for their own kind. And then they come in our faces, wagging their fingers, talking about, you guys don't know yourself. You have no culture. You're just like us. Pan-African bullshit talk, so that you do exactly what you're told and you don't even pay attention to what is going on around you, and you're basically being replaced. If y'all don't see what these Africans are doing, I don't know what else to tell you. But we don't owe them allegiances. We do not owe them anything. We don't. We owe ourselves to protect ourselves and to figure out who's doing what, so that we can send the messages out to our people about what's really going on. But just listen a little bit more to this and then I must go. Let's go.
So I think Siad Barre established an immigration kind of deal with Reagan to allow Somalis to come in, and the whole 1992 act that they mentioned, what's it called? Hope something, if I'm wrong. Like that, if you look at most Somalis in Minnesota, ask them, they'll tell you they're either Darod or Hawiye, which is the two biggest tribes of Somalia. They suck. The Somalilanders are very small compared to those two.
So why do they want to kill your people? Why? What was the conflict about?
Because it became a financial crash, because Somalia went to war with Ethiopia over Ogaden, and then initially it was a USSR-backed war for Somalia. But as because Ethiopia is like a huge country, huge military, like compared to Somalia, we were failing to beat them, and then the Russians switched allegiance, and they backed Ethiopia towards the end of the war, and Somalia lost in the end in 77, 78 roughly, and that's why most Somalis.
Isaac Ifewe from Eritrea was he joined with the Ethiopians and went against the Somalis, where he used to be their ally.
Because the war was about, we wanted to take back Ogaden, because Ogaden was seen as mainly Somalia, not Ethiopia. It was like a goddamn war of this goddamn little area. But we lost, we lost, because Russia said, you know what, we can't back Somalia, we're going to back the bigger country, Ethiopia. Cool. And then from there, money ran out, people were being frustrated, and Siad Barre, as a Darod dictator, he said, and he had Hawiye allies. He said, "Who do I blame all this crap on? That it sucks." And then that's where you got the SNM, the Somali National Movement. SNM.
Is that what brought General Farah ID?
Yes, I did exactly. And I did was not a good guy too. Like I don't like ID, to be fair with you. I don't think it's a decent name. I'm just saying, sir. Till this day, the Isaks have no love for the Darod or the Hawiye. Hence why you got Puntland is right now. Puntland is Darod, Somalia is Hawiye, and Somaliland is Isak. Literally, the three tribes became three countries. That's why when I hear, oh, Somalis are being deported because of Trump, I'm like, which Somalis exactly? Which one are you talking about? You have to be careful with these kind of subjects today. Because it's like me talking about.
You guys are related genetically, right?
Say that again, sir.
You guys are related genetically, right?
Mostly, yeah, but it's mostly like tribal division. It's like the UK. The UK, you've got the Scottish, Irish, and English. It's kind of similar like that.
But to be fair, most people can't track all those different clan differences. To be honest, it's very complicated.
It's very complicated. Exactly. Thank you.
It's very complicated, but when it comes to Black Americans, we supposed to believe we all one and we're all the same, and they're all on one accord in telling us that lie. No matter who they all are in on that scam together, but they can be separate in their own land, a part of their own bloodline. They're so vastly different, and they're conflicting and warring and unaliving one another and all these other things. But when it comes to Black Americans, and when we talk to Africans that are liars, they love to pretend to us that there's no difference between us because they want to get the upper hand in manipulation. They want to be the ones that try to explain to us what it is and how to be and what to think. And no, we're not giving y'all the authority over us. That's what y'all don't want. But that's what I don't want. That's what you wish you could do over us. That's why Pan-African talk is very detrimental to our mentality, because it freezes us from being a group of people of America. And it disallows us from becoming one among ourselves, because we're all in this together. Blackness, that is the biggest hustle I have ever heard, to tell Black Americans that we're all one and the same, but y'all still can still keep your own agency among yourself and your own group, but somehow disallow us from having our own agency, because that gives you wiggle room to have, to be able to parasite off of us, to be able to feast off of us. And we all now know the gimmick and the game, and we're not allowing it to happen no more. What's up, African Goddess? Thank you for being here. I'm going to read a couple of more of these, and then I'll have to run real quick. I will come back again Sunday. I just wanted to come on a little bit early because I was a little bit upset by some lives that I had seen earlier. And it's been kind of frustrating watching Americans, Black American men especially. You guys have just been so embarrassing to me. I've been getting so triggered watching you guys talk with Africans and how they get y'all talking about slavery all the time and Pan-Africanism and what y'all gonna do for them. And it's just so weird that you guys don't have a backbone. It is so weird that you guys don't speak up for your own group of people and that you allow them to dictate what you say and how you say it. You guys are disgusting and disturbing in my eyes. You said, Pinky says, America and Americans first and only is our new path. That's what it has to be, Pinky. If we don't have that mentality, we are setting ourselves up to being done dirty. That's what we're doing. You said, I heard Revenue, the jealous Jamaican, is always on panels. He's anti-American. Yes, he is. And he likes to always say, oh, Black Americans can be deported too. He likes to love the fearmonger. And these idiots that's on the platform be like, engaging with him, talking about, oh, yeah, this happened or this happened. I mean, they should be shutting that stupid shit down. Like, you need to worry about losing your citizenship because you're not really an American like we are. We've been here for generations. You're barely here. What are you talking about? Why are you allowing immigrants or people that came from or first generation to son you? I don't get that. Please get a backbone about yourself, Black American men, because you are embarrassing the Black American women. You are making us feel really bad. I'm just telling y'all straight up. You said, but they bleach their skin and do their hair and makeup to look like Black Americans. Exactly. Nigerians, Ethiopians, and Somalians. Pinky says 88% of Somalians are on welfare here in America, and that's what was talked to. Exactly. Refugees need to go home, and that program needs to stop. Exactly. They have more than enough people here that they have helped, and they need to nip it in the bud. They need to stop it. Republicans need to end TPS and the refugee program. Yeah, I'm with you. If there is a civil war in another country, it should be all hands on deck. All that countries, people need to fight, not flee to America. Exactly. They got to somehow do the sacrifices that it takes to make the change that is required. I know it sounds harsh, but there's got to be warring and all these types of things, like what happened with Rwanda back in 94, a cleansing of whatever they need to do to have Rwanda be the way it is now. It took a lot of bloodshed, unfortunately, to have the changes that it took. But a lot of the Africans don't want to sacrifice themselves. They want to come somewhere where it's easy and forget about their home country, and then come to this country and dictate in their mind what they can tell us to do. That's that I have with immigrants. How dare you come to America and then you think you could dictate to me anything? I don't want you speaking to me when you come at me like that. Just miss me altogether. You said, Pinky says, while they're imitating our culture, exactly. African Goddess says, for Black, the guy speaking is a British Somalian, and he comes from Somaliland, which has previously ruled by the UK. Okay, see, I don't know a lot about history. I'm not going to lie. This is my first time even hearing about Somaliland. He said he is not lying. They are separate people. But if he's separate, African Goddess, wouldn't that mean that Black Americans are most separate from all Africans and all immigrants? Why would we perceive ourselves as being one and the same with an immigrant? Think about that. Immigrants come over here and tell Black Americans to think like they're just like them, so we can be on their level, so that we can give up our birthright, so we can pretend like we are not belonging here, like they don't. And we are stupid to allow ourselves to compare ourselves to them. We're not immigrants. We are Americans. And I'm not going to allow immigrants to try to fool me out of my birthright, which is what Pan-Africanism talk does. That's my whole gripe with Pan-Africanism, the manipulation and the hustling that it brings. You said Africans are so different from each other, but we Americans are the same as them. So which African country gets us? Exactly. Like, you know, and they're all on one accord with the lie. They're all on one accord with that lie. But you can go to Nigeria and you have the, what do you call, the Yorubas and the Fulanis and all these other groups be so different. But they come to America. You just like me. Like, no, I'm not. You said Black American men are the worst. I say, stay away from them. Join Team White. Funny but true. It's sad, Pinky, but I have to admit, if I had to put my faith in Black men as a collective, I just couldn't do it. And that says a lot. I really want to believe in y'all, but y'all don't have the backbone that's needed, and you don't have the conviction that you used to have, and you don't have righteous anger. You don't have dignity about yourself. You don't have self-worth about yourself. You just let anything and all things happen around you, and you don't say a goddamn thing. Or you join in the festivities of the foolishness, and you are a mocking stock that everybody is looking at and laughing at and shaking their head and saying, look at these dumb motherfuckers right here. And women got to sit up there and listen to y'all look like fools for the world to see. It is so embarrassing. I have just got to let y'all know. Y'all need to clean that shit up, because y'all are walking embarrassments. Learn to speak and hold your own weight. Don't let people that come over here son you and dictate to you anything. If you don't have that mentality, just sit down and shut the fuck up. Please don't come on panels talking. God. Revenue wasn't born here. Okay. African Goddess says that conflict in Somalia has been going on for 30 years. Well, they need to wrap it up, or they need to go back or figure out some other place of Africa, Kenya, or wherever to go. That's all I'll say. He said if people keep fleeing instead of fighting, the civil unrest will never end, and never will the fleeing. Ah, man, I'm so glad I'm not an immigrant. I'm so glad I'm from America. Thank the Lord for that. And that's the type of thing that we need to coalesce around, mentality-wise, who is indigenous Black American, because a lot of other immigrants come over here to try to get us to not feel that way. Their whole goal is to have us not feel like we're anything in America, because it benefits them that we are clueless and we are, confused, and we're arguing and debating and all these other things that y'all continually do on platforms, wasting time. 12-hour streams talking about nothing. 6-hour streams arguing and talking about nothing, looking like fools. And then y'all think that women are looking at you in reverence? We're looking at you like, what the fuck? You said, of course, Black Americans are their own separate group. I understand, African Goddess, you get it. Like I said, I wish to goodness you would get a channel and just speak and not even show yourself, but get a channel and speak, because there are a few gems of Africans out there. It's just so hard to find the ones that are going to be transparent and real and down to earth. Most of them are really bent on tricking us and really bent on confusing us. That's all they care about. Keep the confusion going. You are one in a million that I have noticed that really respects us as who we are, and you hear our voices. I know some of the things that I say might not sound good coming out from a woman especially, but I'm just being honest and transparent. That's all I know how to be. And you respect it, so I respect you. He said a lot of our stupid men following the immigrants, and they have no brains. Women that follow them help our stupid. I know. However, meet a Black American woman last week in Senegal who was very upset when I told her that she was not culturally African. That's what I'm saying. The confusion is crazy. Most of the Black men of today are just out for self and fall for just about anything. And they're basically looking to get a whiff of someone's, private part. I mean, that's how simplistic minded they are. You said that's one of those confused. Yeah, they are definitely confused. The man arguing this morning is married to a Somalian. I know, they're stupid. There is a huge Somalian population in Kenya and Uganda. That's where I think they should go. And Piggy says that woman is lost and looking for a place to belong, probably burnt all connections to the people at home. Yeah. But, I have to run, but I am going to come back Sunday. I hope to try to come a little bit earlier if I can. If not, just look for me. If you have not yet, please hit the like button. Please share the video and understand this is not hate speech. This is about telling the truth. Americans have the right to protect America. We have the right to wish for the best for Americans. And I'm not placing immigrants and illegals over Americans. That's never going to happen. My mindset is the same as Barbara Jordan. I'm just not as eloquent in how she expressed it. For those that didn't see what she says, please rewind to the beginning and you will see what she said about the immigration situation. Thank you all. Please like and share the video and bless up.